Welcome to this week's Movie Math, where today we're going to take a look at the top 10 movies of 2015 box office-wise, both domestic and worldwide. Now, you've been hearing a lot about the domestic box office lately because Star Wars The Force Awakens is about to top that list for all time, unseating Avatar. Yet it's the worldwide box office that's gained prominence over the last few years because this is where you find the billion-dollar club. In fact, with so many movies this year joining the billion-dollar club, 5, a record number beating out 2012's 4 entries, the real VIP spot is becoming the $2 billion club. James Cameron is currently the only member, and while China could gain entry for The Force Awakens, it currently has about $1 billion to go before it actually topples Avatar worldwide. But still, the purchase of Star Wars has only further tightened Disney's grip on the box office. And interestingly, the only studio that's managed to challenge them is Universal, which had a banner year and dominated headlines in the industry trades until Star Wars returned and the mouse reminded everyone who's boss. Then again, Warner Brothers is really hoping that 2016 is their year. Anyways, The Force Awakens continues to make box office history. Let's return our attention to 2015 and the top 10 domestic winners of the year. Just $20 million behind Avatar's all-time record domestic gross at this point, The Force Awakens has helped prove that the simplest sales pitch sells the most tickets. Pocahontas in Space, Episode 4 2.0. Avatar famously went on to the Oscars, yet only walked away with wins in cinematography, visual effects, and art direction. Avatar fared much better at the Golden Globes, winning Best Picture Drama and Best Director. Yet Disney didn't release The Force Awakens in time for the Hollywood Foreign Press Association to consider it. So far, critics seem as divided as audiences over whether or not The Force Awakens is awards-worthy or just good popcorn fun. But we'll find out how the Academy feels when the Oscar nominations are announced January 14th. As for the rest of the domestic top 10 in 2015, you can see that Disney and Universal clearly dominate, and it must be frustrating for Universal that the Star Wars box office headlines seem to have wiped their box office achievements from everyone's memory. We might also be seeing another in-house competition brewing at Disney, as Marvel went from ruling the domestic box office in 2012 to coming in third behind fellow Disney division Lucasfilm and Universal's Jurassic World. But speaking of Disney's other top brands, Pixar reasserted its box office dominance with Inside Out, at least besting Universal's Minions here, even if it couldn't worldwide. The Hunger Games also saw its box office prospects tumble, going from 2nd place last year to 7th place this year, and the domestic box office has been the true strength of this franchise. Then kudos to The Martian, the only live-action, non-franchise entry to crack the top 10. A tremendous return to form for Matt Damon, which perfectly positions his 2 big blockbusters for 2016, the new Bourne movie and Legendary's team-up with China, The Great Wall. Then while Cinderella gets all the Disney brands into the top 10, Lucasfilm, Marvel Animation, and live-action fairy tales, Sony has got to be reeling from Spectre, which has come in over $100 million behind Skyfall's 2012 domestic haul, barely making it into the top 10. But while Felix left 007 to twist in the wind, Bond got a serious assist from the rest of the world. Well, quite a different picture indeed, right? As you're about to see, many of these movies made over 70% of their box office outside the United States, proving that movie stars and brands still mean something overseas. And Chinese moviegoers are becoming as influential as American moviegoers when it comes to picking the big box office winners of the year. Currently, Jurassic World is still number 1, but likely not for long once The Force Awakens hits China January 9th. It's already playing everywhere else on Earth. But then impressively, Furious 7 has managed to hold its own worldwide thanks to earning over $1 billion overseas, over 75% of its total haul, $390 million from China alone, more than it earned in the US. In fact, Furious 7 so far is the most successful Hollywood movie of the year and all time in China, defeated only by homegrown monster hit Monster Hunt. Then, speaking of that friendly in-house competition, Star Wars has just passed Marvel on the worldwide list, as what was apparently the bane of Joss Whedon's existence sinks to number 4. Next, they don't speak English, and that literally paid off overseas, where the Minions joined the billion-dollar club, while Inside Out did not. In fact, Pixar only has one member of the billion-dollar club, Toy Story 3, but odds are strong that Finding Dory, Toy Story 4, and/or The Incredibles 2 will fix that. Sadly, Bond only has one member of the billion-dollar club as well, since Spectre was unable to match Skyfall's box office success. But don't blame us, because despite doing almost 80% of its business overseas, Spectre wasn't able to match Skyfall there either. Next, thanks to strong foreign ticket sales, Tom Cruise was able to kick Cinderella out of the worldwide top 10. Still, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation came in slightly below Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Not to mention 2011 was a less competitive year, allowing Ghost Protocol to come in at 5th place. Fierce competition also took its toll on the Hunger Games, with Mockingjay Part 2 barely making it into the top 10, although it is trailing Part 1 by over 100 million. Then finally, The Martian impressed on the worldwide stage as well, just making the cut as it edged out 50 Shades of Grey thanks to a stronger domestic haul. So those are the top 10 movies of 2015, according to what you actually paid to see. What do you think of the results? Will Star Wars The Force Awakens be able to close the billion-dollar gap between itself and Avatar? And will 2016 produce even more billion-dollar club entries, or less? Be sure to share your thoughts down below. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.